We still have more Nintendo Switch 2 news to get into, including a potential massive collection of some AAA titles, finally an update on the Duskbloods, and so much more. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers, or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random, and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. Let's start off with the Watch Dogs collection for the Nintendo Switch 2 that kind of popped up, but then disappeared as fast as it popped up. So it seems like it could have been a retail leak for this. So let's get into it here. So it appears that Ubisoft could be planning a release of a Watch Dogs collection for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, the collection contains Watch Dogs 1, Watch Dogs 2, and Watch Dogs Legion. Now, naturally, the collection is a game keycard. Of course, if it has all those three games, it'd be pretty massive in file size. But Ubisoft has yet to announce the collection, so we have to wait and see what happens with it. Now, the retail listing has since been taken down, but it looks like Hugo Gaming was able to capture it on a listing retail site. Looks like it's foreign here, alza.cz. They're able to capture that, and this is something that I think would be actually pretty cool. Watch Dogs is not my favorite franchise out there. I have played some of the Watch Dogs games, but it actually does some things that's a bit different from, like, let's say GTA or other types of open world games. And if GTA 6, which probably not if, GTA 6 isn't going to be coming to Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026, maybe Ubisoft says, okay, well, you guys don't get this game, but you get an open world game like Watch Dogs. So obviously probably not going to be as highly coveted or as good as GTA 6, but it's still something. And Watch Dogs, once again, is a franchise that people actually do like. Now, the sales and some of the issues that Watch Dogs has had over the years, that's something that, you know, just attributed to Ubisoft being Ubisoft when it comes to some of the development. But I don't think it's a terrible franchise or anything like that. Like I stated, I did play some of the Watch Dogs games, and I think that they kind of like overhyped it and lied about some of the stuff with Watch Dogs, and I think that's why I got a lot of hate, especially the first Watch Dogs game. They showed off something that clearly wasn't going to look like what it was, kind of like lied about how good the graphics were going to be, because there was no way it was going to run like that and look like that on the PS4, Xbox One, on the PS3, Xbox 360, like all that PC. It just wasn't going to be like that. But either way, it ended up being just an okay game. It's like an 8 out of 10 type of franchise. Some people really love Watch Dogs and kind of what it does. It has like hacking and has different type of stuff that they do in the game. And Watch Dogs, there's 3 games, a number of years, and they did make some money. They wouldn't have made so many of them if it wasn't a somewhat popular franchise and did well enough. But the last game, Watch Dogs Legion, I remember seeing that game for like $10, $15, $20 very quickly after it launched on Xbox and PlayStation. So I'm not sure how well that did, because it's been a while since that game. But if they did this collection here, I would absolutely be down to pick it up and see how it runs and plays on the Switch 2. Watch Dogs 1 in particular is something that I'm interested in. That's the game that I didn't spend too much time with. I think I have it on the Wii U, or I know I have it on some platforms. I know I've checked it out at some point, but I want to go back and kind of play that. I think it'd be kind of cool to play that in a portable type of setting and just kind of see how that is. So if they bring out Watch Dogs collection on the Switch 2 by the end of the year and it's decently priced, I think that's something that a lot of Nintendo Switch 2 players would actually be interested in playing. So I hope this listing is correct. This box art seems to be pretty official. You have the 3 different characters on there from the games and everything. So unless somebody just made this up and then mistakenly put it up on the site, I mean, it got pulled pretty quickly. Usually it stays up for a while before it gets pulled, but this one got pulled quickly. So looks like this could be correct, and I'm pretty sure it'd probably be on other platforms too, even though the Watch Dogs games, they're backwards compatible with Xbox and PlayStation, so maybe this is something that they only do on Switch 2. Maybe not. I'm guessing they'd probably do it on all platforms. But either way, I hope that they do it, and I think it would be cool for Nintendo Switch 2 owners to be able to get into some portable Watch Dogs. So let's go ahead and get into some portable Duskbloods. And yes, we finally have an update on the network test for this game. There's really nothing known about this game outside of just like a few different details that came out in a developer interview, but they didn't really show footage running. We still need to see what's going on, but it's going to be soon that we'll be able to get our hands on this, because the network test has been announced for August 21st through August 23rd, and we're going to go down the details here. So there is an application period. So starting on July 22nd, that's a Wednesday at 7 a.m. PDT until July 28th, Tuesday at 6:59 a.m. PDT. And remember, if you want to apply, you want to participate in this network test, you have to have a Nintendo Switch 2 system with an active Nintendo Switch 2 online membership, which that is sold separately. Remember that. You have to be a Nintendo Switch 2 online member. All right, so applications will open soon. Now, the network test involves using a pre-release version of the game to test performance prior to the commencement of service. We plan to conduct large-scale network load tests to check different technical aspects of the game's online systems. We look forward to you taking part and helping us make the Duskbloods as good as it can be. Now, the overview of this, the primary goal of the network test for the Duskbloods are as follows. You have game server load tests. We will connect large numbers of players simultaneously to verify gameplay while putting a load on the game server. Multiplayer tests. We will test for various problems that occur when multiple people play together in different network environments and various phenomena that may occur by having many users participate. Game balance test. When real players test the game together, the developers can gather data about how well the game is balanced. And then you have the gameplay. The network test for the Duskbloods allows for up to 8 players to participate together in each of the multiplayer matches while the game is still in development. We ask for your understanding that bugs may occur during gameplay. So you guys can check out the schedule right here. Here's the selection, the announcements, the network test, the times. August, there's going to be various different times on August 21st, once on August 22nd, and then a couple times on August 23rd. Then once again, applying. You simply have to come back to this page, and I'll have that up as well, and then go through there. And if you're selected, it will happen. And then there's an FAQ on various different things when it comes to the game. And this is one of the most mysterious games when it comes down to it, because this game can really help push a lot of new people. I was talking about this on my live stream the other day. A lot of new people that maybe would never buy a Nintendo system to get the Nintendo Switch 2. There is a game called Elden Ring Night Reign that started out kind of slow, but ultimately has picked up a dedicated audience of online players that like the From Software formula, like Elden Ring, but then you put that in a multiplayer cooperative type of online atmosphere, and it becomes something very fun. Now, it's a different style of game than Elden Ring Night Reign. From what I understand with the Duskbloods, from what a lot of the users said, and from what I've gathered, it's definitely going to be a different style of game. But if you're into the online type of From Software style title, then this can be a game that a lot of these Elden Ring Night Reign players that are hardcore into that might be looking to say, okay, hold up, let me try this game out. Let me try the Nintendo Switch 2 out. Is this going to be a game that I'm going to put hundreds, maybe thousands of hours into? And I think that's going to be the big thing with the Duskbloods. What is this game going to do from a content, from a gameplay standpoint that's going to keep people coming back to it over and over and over? It's not a single player type of experience from what I understand. Maybe there's single player missions kind of baked into the full release of the game. Maybe they have some stuff like that. I'm actually kind of hopium or copium for stuff like that, because I'm not the biggest online multiplayer person. But what are they going to do to kind of carry this game over the course of the generation, or what the online is going to be? That is going to be fascinating, because we don't know exactly how the structure and how this game is going to play outside of just some snippets from that developer interview where they didn't show the game in motion, actually showing the mechanics and everything. The first time that we're going to see anything is going to be at this event. Now, once again, we might get previews. Nintendo maybe will preview this with different outlets, so keep that in mind. We might get some previews beforehand saying Duskbloods is the most unique or craziest Switch 2 game ever that Nintendo's done. Like, there's going to be something maybe to where they say, okay, we're going to give people an opportunity to play the game from a professional standpoint with some of the media. And I think that that will be something to where, man, I am looking forward to seeing what people actually think about this. From Software, one of the best developers in the business. And if this game is a hit, that's going to be a huge boon and plus to the Nintendo Switch 2. So we'll see what happens when it comes to the Duskbloods. I am interested to check it out myself. Not a big From Software person, not a big online multiplayer person with this type of game. Do you plan on maybe applying to play the Duskbloods in this network test, you can let me know, but you can also let me know what you think about Final Fantasy Resonance, because we've got a bunch of new details about the game. Gamatsu and Genki has us covered, so let's go ahead and run down what this game is about and what you can expect. So the main story is around 30 to 40 hours long. I think that's a perfect sweet spot main story time, but if you want to be the completionist, that's going to take you about 60 to 80 hours. There's 26 different visions or characters or past Final Fantasy characters that you can use to kind of come help you and summon into battle. The visions are crystallized essences of legendary Final Fantasy heroes. The stronger your bond with a vision grows, the more abilities you can unlock. You can visit Sanctums of Light on the world map to acquire new visions. You can forge new weapons by collecting resources. Esper summons join the battle for 3 turns before unleashing a special attack. Espers include Ifrit, Shiva, Titan, Odin, and more. Collectible table shards to acquire new items, various towns and hubs to visit. Fast travel is unlocked early in the game. Various minigames in each town. More tag minigame, jump rope minigame, 3 difficulty levels. That's awesome. Casual, normal, expert. Love that, and I will be playing on expert. The Colosseum. Fight daunting enemies from Final Fantasy series to get rewards. 12 legendary arms, ultimate weapons to collect. All of this just sounds perfect. All of this just sounds so old school / new school hybrid blend of Final Fantasy. I'm loving everything about Final Fantasy Resonance. The only thing that I don't necessarily love is that they didn't put enemies on the main map, like it's a random encounter. So I want to see how many of those are going to be and what you can do to manipulate that. But outside of that, which is not that big of a problem, I mean, it might be a big problem for some. For me, it's like I got to see how it's implemented. But man, everything else just sounds incredible. I love what they're doing here. I think it looks awesome. I'm so much looking forward to seeing what this game is going to do ultimately. And yeah, it's just hype. It's a hype type of situation. It's coming out this year. We're going to be able to get it this October. It is a stacked and packed October, September. Man, there are so many big RPGs and games to play. So excited for that. But I'm also excited to see what's going on with BlazBlue Entropy Effect X coming to the Switch 2 on August 13th, plus a major content update. The Switch 2 version, I've been waiting for this game. This is actually a really good game. Been waiting for it on the Switch 2, and now we are getting it. So publisher Astrolabe Games and developer 91 Act will release a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of 2D action roguelike game BlazBlue Entropy Effect X on August 13th, alongside a free major content update for all platforms, the company announced. And the game originally launched back on February 12th for Xbox Series, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch 1. This free major content update will add new playable characters, platinum, and upgraded training space, new branching route options for each run, and more. Now, users who own the Switch 1 version of the game will be able to upgrade to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition via a upgrade pack for $1.99. The Switch 2 version will feature enhanced visuals and improved frame rate, game share, support, and exclusive bonus content, old world fantasy, platinum palette, Dango Balloon Chibi avatar. So pretty cool stuff there. And we've also got some details on the specs for the Switch 2 version of the game. So Switch 2 owners can expect TV mode dock, that's going to get you 1440p 60 frames per second. Handheld mode is going to get you 1080p 60 frames per second, and once again, game share support. Yeah, this game actually got some pretty good reviews, and it plays super smooth. The gameplay is fun. I mean, it is a rogue game, and I kind of feel a certain way about rogue games, but it is going to be a fun rogue game. It almost reminds me of something like, okay, I'll kind of just try it out like Hades, and maybe I'll do a run and complete that, and that'll be my fun that I have with it. I'm not going to sit there and do it over and over and over like some people do, but it is a really good game from what everything that's out there about it. And once again, you do get a $1.99 upgrade, which is nice because Square Enix decided to not give us an upgrade when it comes to Star Ocean, the Second Story R, one of the better RPGs released in this generation-ish or so when it comes to classic games being brought back. I don't know what Square Enix is thinking, because I am excited to see that Star Ocean the Second Story R is out now on the Nintendo Switch 2. This is one of the better games. It's really good, but it was somewhat crusty on the Nintendo Switch 1. Classic game being brought back, 30 frames per second, pretty long loading times. Resolution was okay, but it's an action RPG. You want to get that fluid 60 FPS, and it would be nice if it was on the Switch 2. And that's one of the things that I said, all right, I'll wait because I know it's going to be on Switch 2 eventually. I want to get that portable play with 60 FPS and not have to use a PS Portal or something like that, or a ROG Ally. I don't want to do all that. I just want to be able to have it on the Switch 2. And so I waited. Even though I have it on PlayStation 5, I bought it on Nintendo Switch 1. And of course, Square Enix says $50, no upgrade path. And it's nice, man. It's nice on Switch 2. It runs and looks great. And the funniest thing about this is that Square Enix actually has a sale going on right now with the Switch 1 version of this game, where it's 50% off for $25 and no upgrade path. Square Enix, you're killing me with this. You could have easily just said, okay, $10 upgrade path from the Switch 1 version, so at least people can buy it on Switch 1 for $25, spend $10, get it for $35, and they can have it on the Nintendo Switch 2. And you just decide to just say, you know what? No, none of that. Oh, and by the way, no save file transfer. So if you drop the game, or if you played it a little bit, or if you have the demo, or whatever the case is, nope, you're not going to be able to transfer over your save file. Square Enix is killing me with this. Like, they are killing me when it comes down to this, because this is multiple games now that they've done this to the point to where there's no save file transfer. There's not anything like that. And I have no idea why that they decide to do stuff like this. But hey, it is what it is. It is a good game. I think there's a Switch 1 demo. I don't know if there's a Switch 2 demo. Check it out if there is. But yeah, it's a solid game. It got great reviews, 86, 87 Metacritic. So I can't sit there and say that it's bad. It's not. It's very good. But Square Enix is just messing up when it comes to giving Switch 2 owners the ability to easier get into the experience, you know, consumer friendly type of stuff. Love the support from Square Enix, but they've got to fix that, because they've had some updates for games. I think Final Fantasy Tactics, Dragon Quest, Romancing Saga, those have had upgrades and update paths and all that, and this one just does not. So it is what it is there. But let's also get into another update, and that's Mario Tennis Fevor for the Nintendo Switch 2. We've got a nice new version of the game, 1.1.1, and that includes a free update with new content. So the update includes a new Galaxy Court, Black Hole Racket, 5 new colors for Luma, and support for game share via game chat. There's also a new Mix It Up mode. A new Galaxy Court match has also been added, featuring prankster comments that mix up the gameplay. Various bug fixes and adjustments, including changes to character specifications, have been made as well. Now, there's a bunch of changes that you can check out if you want the full detail. You can see the different balancing changes that they've done. But yeah, this just adds some nice new content to Mario Tennis Fevor. And the thing about it is that Nintendo probably planned all of this, but they didn't say anything. Because anytime that they say anything about a Mario sports game beforehand, about getting extra content post-launch, people immediately assume that they're holding back everything. So they did the smart thing this time and just not say anything. Although it's been multiple months since the game released. It came out in February. So this content was probably absolutely worked on well after the game was done, and stuff that they were still putting together, plus the balancing. So it definitely seems like it was well after the game was released. But all right, peeps, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.